What's up, everybody? Big day today. New boat, and I'm excited about it. So what I figured we'd do is we'll do a quick run through of the boat, and then I'm going to go through some pros and cons of switching from one type of boat to another. And maybe this will help some people out there, maybe it won't. But either way, stay tuned to the end of the video because there's something I want to talk about. So anyway, here it is. So there's the new boat. The Old Town Sportsman 120 PDL. Oh, and I guess I should say, I didn't get to show you guys my new trophies that I won. Pump back, I had to go leave early for the dance recital, and then North Beaver Lake we didn't have a captain's meeting after. So anyway, these plaques are made by Natural State Custom Furniture, so anybody out there that wants some cool plaques made, he can hook you up, promise you. Okay, so here we go. New boat. Had one event in it. You guys, if you watched the last event, you know that I've already fished an event out of it, so I have a little bit of experience with it. Not a ton though. So anyway, here is the walkthrough. We have the handle up here in the front. We have the front hatch. They replaced it with the bungee cords instead of the locking knob. Got my stuff inside of there. I actually prefer not to drill holes for my electronics, so I just run them out the edge, out from underneath the edge of the front hatch. Zip tie them together, they stay out of the way. My transducer, I have an over the side mount, mounted on one of the gear tracks that's provided. Same thing with my graph on a ram ball mount. Here is the handle molded into the side. We have the rudder control with the locking knob. You can sort of get a heading and then screw that down and it'll maintain that same heading. Forward facing rod holder, that's come in handy already. Here's a paddle leash on the side. Rear facing rod holder. My Boondocks landing gear that I've attached. I put an aluminum plate on the inside through the storage, or through the hole that allows you to get inside the hull. Had to have my wife help me because my arms weren't quite long enough, but anyway, we got it done. And so there's an aluminum plate on the inside and outside, so don't have to worry about rust. Rudder here, cables, this is the only spot where the cables are exposed. That's a big deal to me. The new back end has handles that are roto molded right underneath here, one on each side, which is way better than the old way. And there's a handle right here just for quick and easy moving it around. Here's the other side. We have another rear facing rod holder. Here is the seat, super comfortable seat. Have a kayak cushion to go on it. And then under here we have some storage. This is where I keep my terminal tackle in this tray right under the seat. Cup holder with a dead fly in it. But you can see that it's not going to hold water just because it's made to drain down into the bottom of the floor. Another gear track. We have matching pouches on each side for all your stuff that you might want to put in the side. Extra baits, pliers, scissors. Have some dip and glow over there, all kinds of stuff. This is the drive. That's the meat and potatoes of this thing. That is the thing that makes this thing go. And I love it. It's a great system. So yeah, that's it. It's so far in the first event it did just fine. Now I will say, if you are coming from a Predator PDL, or if you're just thinking about buying your very first boat or coming from another brand, I do have a list of some cons that are true cons, but then I also have a list of some stuff that's maybe just personal preference. Number one con, it's slower. It doesn't have the V-hull shape as much as the PDL does, so it is slower. There's more body of the kayak touching the water, so there's just it's bound to be a little bit slower. How much slower, I'm not sure yet. Where I was at the last tournament, there was an awful lot of current, so I'm not really 100% sure how much slower, but it seemed to be maybe 0.4 miles per hour, somewhere in there, if I was guessing. But we'll have to do some more research on that. Another con is, because I have the boondocks on here, on the PDL, the handle was roto-molded into the front right here. There was a place where you could just grab it. Well, that's fine. They put the handle about 8 to 10 inches back further. So the problem is, when you pick it up and turn around in order to pull it up the ramp, the handle is too far back into the kayak, and this part of it just hits you in the butt and in the back of the legs, and it's really kind of cumbersome and awkward. Now the easy fix to that is just going to be just tie a rope around this and put another handle on it, and then no harm, no foul. But if we're going to go over it and kind of pick it apart a little bit about what's good and what's not, that's one thing that it just seems like the molded in handle was a better option. Also, when you buy this thing, it doesn't come with scupper plugs. You got to buy 10 of them. And I'm just telling you, I've tried to move these around and different places, but some of them, they just don't want to fit in there. I mean, I know they're supposed to be tight, but good gracious, I couldn't get it down in there if I wanted to. So, not sure about that. Maybe it just is because everything's new and tight and all that stuff, and I also don't want to take a mallet to it quite yet. So anyway, and another con for me is the drive storage. Coming from the Predator PDL, you're losing probably about 3 to 4 inches of depth on the drive storage, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, I put my extra graph battery in there. I would put some snacks and stuff in there, plus I keep extra line, leader line, battery for my camera, SD cards, that kind of stuff, and it pretty much gets filled up pretty quick. So not just a ton of storage there. The other things that are just what I would consider not necessarily cons, just maybe me being picky, but it is what it is. I actually prefer the plates. Gear Track is fine, but I liked the plates. So just know that it doesn't have the plates, and it doesn't have any Gear Track back here in the back. It's got Gear Track in the front where everything needs to be mounted, which is fine. I preferred the plates. I also preferred the plates because they actually covered up the bags on the side, the little pouches on the side. You know, if there's a pair of scissors up here or something like that, and you know, grab your net or whatever, and I mean, I know it's a long shot, and like I said, this is being super picky, but it just, I liked the fact that they were underneath the Gear Track, so whatever you put in there, you'd have to work to get it out, which is maybe a pain in the butt for some people, but for me, I liked it. I like to have to reach in there and get stuff out because I knew it was always going to be in there, and I didn't have to worry about things blowing out or falling out or anything like that. So anyway, what's next? Okay, this underneath the seat, there is a molded, I'm gonna try to undo the seat here so I can show you. Okay, so under the seat right here, something that the PDL does not have, there is a molded piece of plastic right here. And I get the idea. See this indention right here? This indention is supposed to be designed to where, you can still see it right there, you can set a rod butt down there, and actually this groove right here, you can lay a rod in this groove. Well, that's fine, whatever. But actually, more than anything, what it does, it just takes away the ability to store a big tub underneath the seat. I mean, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get some stuff underneath there now. So, like I said, maybe you don't use your under seat storage. I use mine for plastics a lot. So that's a little bit of a con for me, especially. And it also doesn't have a seat pouch in the back. This is just a, you can see it just holds, it goes over the frame of the seat, and that's pretty much it. So anyway, that's there are a few things that are definitely different that are going to take some getting used to. But now, to just not be just a negative Nancy, we're going to talk about the pros. So the first pro is this boat is $400 cheaper than the PDL. And I'm not sure where the $400 cheaper is. Like I said, other than the little piddly things, I'm not sure. I don't know. Anyway, it is $400 cheaper. So this boat retails for $21.99. The Big Water PDL is what it's now called. It used to be called the Predator PDL, but with the renaming and rebranding, it is now called the Big Water PDL. So it is $25.99. It's got a flat bottom, which to me is a pro, because when you set this thing on the ground, it sits flat. The other boat used to annoy me to death, because when you would lift the nose up without the wheels on, it was so tapered on the bottom, on the front and the back, that it would naturally rock to one side or the other. And when you would try to load it in the back of the truck, you would set the nose up there and it would really, really lean to one side or the other. So if you had anything in here, there's a chance it was going to tip out. And the more you had in here, the more it would lean. And I've actually had it tip over on me once or twice. So it's just not great. But this one with the flat bottom, yes, it makes it a little bit slower, but also it's just easier to get in and out of the truck. When you're sitting in the seat and you're fishing, everything's closer to you in the front of the boat. The hatch is a little bit closer. It seems like that most of the distance that they took off between the PDL and the Predator, or the Big Water, and this one, most of the distance is in the front, because one huge pro is the tank well is way bigger. Now, part of this is, I know you guys, some of you might feel a certain way about Boondocks, the landing gear. It is what it is. But because of where the rod holders were on the Big Water or the Predator, same thing, and because of those rear mounting plates, the only place to put the Boondocks was back towards the back, which is fine because everything was closer to you, but then any extra tank well space was way back in the back and you really couldn't reach it. So it was basically 8 to 10 inches of unusable floor space in the back for me. It also, mounting the wheels that far back with a 13-foot 2-inch boat, made it kind of have a wheelbarrow effect. The wheels were close together and it was really long, so if you hit a bump and it started to tip, it was going to tip. I had that happen to me twice, where I hit a bump and it just was too big of a bump and it went. But these being able to be so much further forward, I can still fit my tackle crate back here in the back, which is great. But now I have this 8 to 10 inches of room for a cooler, drinks, for whatever, and I love this. I mean, it is, I think it's great. So I don't have the rods like touching the back of my head whenever I'm leaning back, because in the other boat, that's the way that it was. So the bigger tank well and just the way that it lays out back there is huge to me. It is shorter, so it's not quite as bulky when you're trying to mess with it. And you know, loading it in the back of the pickup, you have an extra 14 inches cut off of it. So that's great. And back here in the back, like I said, just carrying it back and forth. I know the front handle was a problem, I said, but the way that they molded in these rear handles was way better. So anyway, that's definitely a pro. There's some other things that I'm sure I'm going to have to get used to. There's definitely going to be some differences going from one boat to the other. I'm still incredibly pleased with this one versus the other one. The things that I like about it definitely outweigh the things that I don't like about it. And there's no such thing as a perfect kayak. There's just not. So, but for, man, you know, for half, it is basically that you can get this brand new for half the price of a Hobie 360, or even almost a Hobie 180 drive. That's the same length. Okay, well, there it is, the walkthrough of my brand new boat, an Old Town Sportsman 120 PDL. If you guys have any questions about it, you can reach out in the comments, and I would love to answer any questions that you might have. Yes, there's some little picky piddly things that I like better about the other boat, but for the most part, I can't wait to go out and compete in this one. Okay, now I said to stay tuned till the end of the video, and either you fast forwarded ahead or you've done that, either way. But I just wanted to say thanks to all you people, because we're on the verge of 200 subscribers, which I know that's not a lot in YouTube land, but for me, for somebody that just started this back in January, to already be getting close to 200, I'm pretty excited about that, and I don't mind saying it. So we are going to do a little subscriber giveaway. I want to know, of the two, which one gets you more fired up, largemouth or smallmouth? So just comment largemouth or smallmouth down in the comments, and I will pick two, because we're close to 200 subscribers. I will pick two winners out of the comment section here in about a week, and I'll send you each a package of my favorite worms. And if you have watched any of my videos, you know that they may or may not have been shown, or they may or may not have been blurred out in a previous video. And hopefully we can get the subscribers up, and we'll be on our way towards 300. So anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.